Before embarking on a project in MEP Works, there's one or two drawing considerations that need to be considered prior to the setting up of the model. You can't edit floor drawing management, any of those issues in the MEP Works itself. So you've got to actually do that in your CAD system. So here we've got a typical example of a 5 plan. We've got 4 plans and a site plan. So the idea is, normally when you get an architectural layout, it'll be pretty similar to this. Lots of XREFs, car parking spaces, site plans, sections, elevation notes. You need to strip out all the stuff you don't need and produce the plans only. And then what you'd effectively do, in this case, take 5 copies of the layout and have 5 separate layouts, and then remove the plans that you don't want, making sure that the origin of each of those drawings is in the same place. So you would move each of those floor plans to a common origin. That's very important because A, the transfer of heat between the floors and the ceilings will look at the spaces above and below. B, it will also relate to the services that you move up and down through the building in their relative positions. And C, you've also got the site plan to consider, because if you're doing cooling calculations and you are putting obstructing buildings in, all of those drawing floor plans and the site plan need to share the same origin. So the first thing is to move the drawings, separate them out, and have the common origin. The next issue is one of drawing units. Typically a typical drawing units will be in millimeters. So for example, if you measure a door and it says 900 units, you know you're talking millimeters. So you would enter 1,000 drawing units per meter because there are 1,000 millimeters to a meter. If the drawing units on a measured door said 0.9 units when measured in CAD, then you can successfully conclude that that's it drawn in meters. Therefore, where it says drawing units per meter, you would put 1 in. And of course, if it's 90, then that would be centimeters, and you would put 100 drawing units in because there are 100 centimeters to a meter. The other consideration is the extents of the layout. You might find that an architect may use a site plan as an underlying layout on a frozen layer. That will affect the extents of the drawing. There is a limit to 1,000 times magnification in MEP Works, and you don't want to be hampered by not being able to zoom in because the source drawing still retains the extents, including the unfrozen layers. So what you need to do is thaw any unwanted layers and get rid of any of the stuff that you don't need. Just delete it. And ideally what you want is the floor plan to more or less maximize the size of the screen. That way you can zoom in. So if you get these basic drawing management issues sorted out in the first place, that'll prevent any issues later on. And you will actually find that when setting up in MEP Works, there is a sanity test on the GXF origin check to show whether your plans are in the same place and whether the extents are set correctly or not. So hopefully this little video will give you a heads up on the requirements on the drawing management side. And of course, if you're importing from 3D systems such as Revit, ArchiCAD, and anything via GBXML, you won't need to do this because they are 3D models and all the floor plans sit one above the other.